Have you ever wondered what history your teachers didn't tell you? Have you ever asked yourself, why do we only learn about Egypt, Rome, or Greece, but not about the great kingdoms of Africa? What if I told you that Africa holds secrets, kingdoms of gold, cities of stone, and empires of wisdom that were hidden from the world? Most people think Africa's story is only about slavery, struggle, and pain. But that is not true. Africa was once full of kings, queens, warriors, and inventors. They built cities bigger than London, traded gold that shook the world, and wrote books of wisdom before Europe even learned to print. Today we are going on a journey to the lost kingdoms of Africa, the powerful empires that schools rarely teach. Are you ready to hear the stories that history tried to bury? The Kingdom of Kush. Long before Egypt became famous, there was the Kingdom of Kush. Have you heard of it? The Kushites lived in what is today Sudan. They built pyramids, just like the Egyptians, but even more in number, over 200. Yes, hundreds of pyramids rise from the desert, but most school books don't even mention them. The Kushites were fierce warriors and clever builders. They once ruled over Egypt itself. For nearly 100 years, black pharaohs from Kush wore the crown of Egypt. They were kings of two lands, Egypt and Kush, and they showed the world that Africa was not a land without power. But the story of Kush is hidden. Why? Because history books often focus only on Egypt, while ignoring the neighbors who shared and even controlled its glory. The city of Carthage. Now let us travel to North Africa, near modern-day Tunisia. There was once a city so rich and powerful that Rome feared it. Its name was Carthage. Carthage was a kingdom of traders. They sailed the seas, built strong ships, and controlled trade across the Mediterranean. The people of Carthage were masters of money, farming, and war. One of their greatest warriors was Hannibal. Have you heard of him? He shocked the world by leading an army, and even elephants, across the snowy Alps to fight Rome. Imagine elephants marching through ice and mountains. Hannibal almost destroyed Rome itself. But Rome could not forget this insult. They returned with fire and fury. After years of war, they burned Carthage to the ground. They said, "No one will ever rise here again." And so, Carthage became a lost kingdom. The Kingdom of Mali. Now let us go deeper into West Africa. Imagine a kingdom so rich that when its king traveled, he gave away so much gold that the price of gold fell for years. This was the Kingdom of Mali. Its greatest king was Mansa Musa. He was called the richest man who ever lived. His empire stretched across deserts and forests, full of gold mines and traders. He built schools, libraries, and mosques that still stand today. When Mansa Musa went on pilgrimage to Mecca, he traveled with 60,000 people, hundreds of camels, and so much gold dust that the whole Middle East was amazed. Some people thought he was a legend, a fairy tale. But he was real. In Mali's capital, Timbuktu, there were libraries with thousands of books, more books than some European cities at the time. Knowledge, wealth, and power flowed in Mali, but most schools today skip this story. The Kingdom of Great Zimbabwe. Far away in southern Africa, there was a city made of stone. Huge walls built without cement rose high above the land. This was Great Zimbabwe. Its stone walls could hold thousands of people. The city was a center of trade. Gold, ivory, and iron flowed through its gates. Traders from Arabia, India, and even China came to buy and sell. But when European explorers found the ruins, they could not believe Africans built it. They said, it must have been strangers. But they were wrong. Great Zimbabwe was built by Africans, with African skill and African pride. Today its ruins still stand, silent but strong, whispering of a kingdom forgotten by time. The Kingdom of Axum. In East Africa, there was a kingdom called Axum. It stood where Ethiopia is today. Axum was so powerful that it controlled trade between Africa, India, and Rome. Axum minted its own coins, built tall stone monuments called stelae, and became one of the first kingdoms in the world to accept Christianity. Long before Europe's kings became Christian, Axum's rulers had already believed. The people of Axum built churches carved out of solid rock, deep into the ground. Some of these churches still exist today, carved by hand hundreds of years ago, yet still strong. The Kingdom of Benin. Have you ever seen bronze statues so beautiful that people thought they must have been made in Europe? These statues came from the Kingdom of Benin, in what is now Nigeria. The Benin Kingdom was full of art and order. The people carved bronze heads, ivory masks, and wooden figures that told their history. Their city had wide roads, great walls, and skilled soldiers. But when the British came, they destroyed much of Benin and carried away its treasures. Today, the famous Benin bronzes sit in museums far away, while the people of Benin remember what was taken, the Songhai Empire. After Mali came another giant, the Songhai Empire. It became the largest empire in African history, stretching across West Africa like a lion across the plains. Songhai controlled trade, knowledge, and power. Its cities were alive with scholars and traders. It was an empire of wealth and warriors, feared across the Sahara. But when foreign invaders came with guns, the empire fell. Still, the memory of Songhai remains, a memory of African strength. Why don't they teach this? Now you may ask, why don't schools teach us about these kingdoms? The truth is, for many years, history was told by people who wanted to make Africa look weak. They spoke of slavery but ignored strength. They showed chains but hid crowns. They erased kingdoms because they feared the truth. Africa was powerful. But now the hidden stories are rising again. The pyramids of Kush, the ships of Carthage, the gold of Mali, the stones of Zimbabwe, the art of Benin, the churches of Axum, and the empire of Songhai, all stand as proof that Africa was never a dark continent. It was a land of light, wealth, and wisdom. So what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep quiet, or will you share these stories? The lost kingdoms of Africa deserve to be remembered. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the world. Africa was great, Africa is great, and Africa will always rise again.